Hush. Listen. Be still. You look wide-eyed to the forest of the ocean. Wide-eyed, wide vision, unfocused. And you see shadows of peoples long past and animals that once shared this world with us. In your quiet moments, in your soft moments, you sense the closeness of the ancestors calling and calling and calling us home. Their voices are in the wind. Their blood flows in the rivers, their breath. Their bodies are the earth and the mountains, and the spirit is in the light that moves in all things. The great fire in the sky and the great fire at the center of our earth. Mac, you do not even know how to pray. You, we know, love our Mother Earth, yet you do not know how to pray. So we will take you down to the willows that grow in the lake, and every day we will form a half circle as you stand by the willows, and we will ask you to speak aloud your love for this Mother Earth. And we will know when you speak true, and we will repeat this day after day until we hear your true voice, until your heart speaks to ours, and we know that the willows have heard you. So I went down to the lake, and I spoke to the willows, and I couldn't somehow bring my heart to my voice. And the semicircle of indigenous people who were mentoring me turned away and walked home and left me standing there, and I returned with tears in my eyes, and every day we went down to the lake, and every day I tried to pray, and sometimes I got angry, and often I got upset, and I still could not speak to that which I love. And this went on day after day after day, more than a week. We went down there, I'm exhausted, I've cried so much. And then finally, in a mixture of anger, bewilderment, terror at the fact that I couldn't bring my voice to these gentle, beautiful, delicate beings that swayed in front of me, I finally found the voice that I was searching for. The tragedy of our time now is that the willows are still speaking to us. The river that flows in this great city is still speaking to us. The mountains and the moorlands, the woods, the forests, the meadows, the wildflowers still lean towards us, for they do, I sense, love us. But we are a people who, like the prodigal son, sort of left the house and slammed the door, shouting over our shoulder that we'd find our own way, and we'd disregard that which the grandparents have been teaching us all this time. But now, it seems to me we are a people walking home. We are walking home. It was those same indigenous elders who spoke to me and said, your people were once an earth-honoring people. An earth-honoring people here in these islands. The Koritani, the Odavici, the Trinovantes and the Atrebates, the Kornovii, the Brigantes, leaders of tribes with names like Slender Pony, mountain ash, women leaders of our people, Boudica, of course, bringer of victory. The tragedy of our time for me is that we lost somewhere a sense of sacredness and could no longer hear the beauty that was spoken to us in the first day of the first year and forever after. But now what? The great gift that was given to us. In some ways, the challenge and the burden was the gift of choice. For we were never instructed that we had to obey the law. We were only invited to live in alignment with all things beautiful. And we have a choice to make. And so many of us imagine that we have nothing much to give, that we're not gifted with any great talents or strengths, intelligence or vigor or whatever it might happen to be. Yet leadership was and always will be simply a choice that you make when you care enough about something to stand and do something about it, even though you are unprepared, under-resourced, feel inadequate, and all the rest. I think we are living with such a deep sense of sadness at standing outside nature, which is so ridiculous because, of course, we always were, we always will be absolutely part of nature. I met just this last summer a very beautiful Ojibwe artist, a painter, who visited a place in Dorset, and I was invited to meet him. And we were strolling amongst this very beautiful, by the River Frome, with willows and other things. And he began to share with me the fact that he had been invited to Yellowstone National Park when the first 2 wolves were released back into Yellowstone after 75 years or so absence. And he and his Ojibwe brother were invited there to sing their song of welcome home to their brother, wolf. He shared with me the fact that they have no word for animal in their vocabulary, for they see no difference, no separation. Wolves and all other animals always were their sisters and brothers, their relatives. So as the truck pulled up and the grate was opened, my 2 friends began to sing their song. The first wolf shot out of the truck and rushed to the other side of the enclosure, putting as much distance as it could between itself and the humans. And then as the Ojibwe began to really sing, and they really sang, the second wolf came very slowly, walking down the ramp from the truck, watching them, and standing as close as I am to you, and listening. It tilted back its head and sang with them for the full duration of their song. I know this touches many people. It deeply touches me. It doesn't have to be wolf, you know, sparrow, blue-tit, fox and badger, rat, worm and snake. What my friend said caused the greatest uprising of grief for him after the ceremony, because it was beautiful and it was a celebration, but for him, just uncontrollable tears, was the fact that there was no song for his people welcoming them back to their land. And even, at least the last I heard, there was no mention in Yellowstone of the people who were once as much a part of that land as the animals who are now protected there. I think it is changing, but it's been a long time. So I've invited my Ojibwe brother to come to our land on the edge of Dartmoor and work with us, creating a ceremony singing to our wild beings and our ancient relatives and all those for whom have fought for the freedoms which we now enjoy, singing our gratitude, singing our pledge to stand for the young people that Jarvis mentioned, for all of us who long to rejoin the family of all things, who long to come home, who long to be able to go to the willows and pray without embarrassment. And what is it with this word pray? Because many of us are uncomfortable with it, we're not quite sure what it means. It sounds like something that must depend upon belief. But I would like to share with you this story. For I was sat with my indigenous mentors a long time ago around a fire, and I'd had another really exhausting, difficult day. And I was hoping that we were going to have a nice, quiet, peaceful time, because I really did need a break. One of them starts sniffing. What's that? That's a bad smell. That's a really disgusting smell. What is that smell? Suddenly, more than one person is sniffing. All around the circle, the whole group are now sniffing. Somebody's saying, God, it makes you want to retch, makes you want to throw up. What is that smell? All heads turn towards me. I recognize that smell. It's the smell of a believer, a Mac. Are you a believer? Why? Come outside. Stand here at the head of this valley, look down the valley. What do you see? I see trees, I see rivers, I see mountains, I see what you are witnessing is creation. You can climb that tree, you can swim in that river, you can kiss that beautiful human if they're happy for you to do so. You do not need to believe. In old Lakota dialects, there is no word for belief, no concept of belief, for the Lakota had no need to believe. They existed within and experienced it as a minute-by-minute fact. And when Karen Armstrong spoke at TED Global, I was amazed to hear when she said that belief was only very lately introduced into Christian doctrine. It had never been there before. This is the thing. We live in an animate world with immanence, where everything is filled with spirit. And we only have to love it and stand for beauty. And stand with each other. And stand with our young people. Right.